So we'll call the meeting to order, and first order of business is to call roll. If you would do that.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Miller?
Here.
Miss Lindsay?
Here.
Mr. Kerrigan? Miss Ward?
Here.
Mr. Lindeman?
Here.
Mr. Saunders?
Here.
Okay. And since we haven't heard from Mr. Kerrigan, you'll be a voting member.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Minutes, we have the minutes in our packet, I believe. So are there any changes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second the motion.
Okay. We've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the first item on our agenda tonight, if you wouldn't mind, please think about silencing your phone, and we'll get started with the meeting, okay? So the first item is to discuss the division triangle. We have representatives from the Bay County Sheriff's Office. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're up front and center. And if you would, please, this is a public meeting, so we'll take comments from the public, but if you'll explain to the room what this vision triangle is about, we'd appreciate it. Okay?
Deputy Government Bay County Sheriff's Office. My understanding of vision triangles, when you have an intersection in the road, you can't have a fence that's between the feet, state law, 4 to 10 feet high. So if you have a fence that's 3 foot high or anything like that coming up to the stop sign, it's okay. There is a golden rule that we have. You have to stay back 20 feet from that stop sign or that intersection so that people coming to the intersection in both directions or all 4 directions, you have a visual line of sight. So basically the way the triangle works, if you were to start at that stop sign, you should be able to see 20 feet in any direction of traffic coming in, regardless of the speed limit, regardless of the distance, stopping distance, or anything like that. And that's pretty much that. That's how we generate our triangles, is golden rules 20 feet from the sign that you have clear vision around. The city might set something different. I don't know what your LDR is or anything like that with that. That is not for me, but I just know through the state, it's got to be at least a minimum of 20 feet away. So, and basically the simple way, if you take where the stop signs are in the 4 intersections, you go out 20 feet, you make that angle, that is your vision view. That's how that's explained. Beyond that, that's up to the city what they have said.
Okay. All right, do we have comments from the public? We'll open the public hearing now. This is to do with the home on Colorado, that is 426 Colorado Drive, and the owner of the property is wishing to construct an additional 6 feet of fence to connect it to
Madam
the...
Chair, are you finished with the deputy?
Yes, I'm...
I'm only to discuss the division triangle, just his portion of it.
Well, I would ask that if there is anybody in the room that has a question to...
So I'm the owner of 426 Colorado, and the
Okay,
We need to finish with the deputy after that item before we move on to that.
does your question relate to the deputy?
no, I
Okay.
think the answer.
So, okay, anybody else have a question for the deputy? Okay, then we thank you for your...
Maybe just give us a few minutes in case anything else comes up. Thank you very much. Sorry, Mike.
Okay, now, this is to do with the property on Colorado, and apparently we have the owner here, so come forward and tell us what you're...
So my name is Wolfgang Butt, and I'm the owner. And on one side, on the side of the fence to Fifth Street on my property, there's right now 140 feet. There's no fence on it. And I asked for 70 feet, 6 feet high, and the rest is already approved 3 feet high. So the deputy just said 20 feet. So 70, you still have 70 feet of 3 feet high. So there should not be a problem at all. But what's happened over here all the time is, because there's not enough parking in front of the stores, you have RVs, you got campers, you got trailers, you got boats. parking there all the time and blocking the view from Colorado into Fifth anyway. And then the other problem that I have, I constantly have plastic mini bottles and trash in my yard. And also there's some people allowing their dogs when I'm not here to do their things in their yard. And I've approached somebody once before to please clean it up. And they told me if I don't like dog shit in my yard, I should clean it up myself. And also, I constantly, like just last week, we were out for about 15 minutes and I left the gate open. And by the time we came back, there was a lady walking through my property going over to the store. See, that's really, and actually the other thing is, I was in the city council meeting in April 2020 concerning about the safety of the whole area, because you got Fifth Street, you got parking on the other side, you got parking on my side, and the delivery trucks, the drivers, they have to cross Fifth Street back and forth all the time to deliver to the store. I think it's very dangerous. I think you should consider to put some speed bumps on either side of the store, and that would actually make sure that everybody really slows down, because okay, there's a 25-mile-an-hour sign, but you know, people driving there really poor. And I think right now, you have the pavers here already. They have to clean out their machine by the end of the day anyway, so they can use basically what they are normally throwing on the side of the road and throw it on both sides of the fence and create your speed bump basically for no money.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to
I
add to
think
that?
this is for right now. Should do it. If there's any other questions coming up, or if anybody has any questions for me.
Is there anyone else in the room that would speak to this issue? Oh, okay. Go ahead with the question to deputy so we can.
I have a question to the deputy. The gentleman that owns Colorado, he mentioned that trailers are parking in that 20-foot view area for the triangle. Are you guys ticketing or asking
If
them
we
to?
see them, if we know about it, I mean, most of the time when you have one deputy controlling this whole city,
We understand
the
that.
problem is if it's during the day, we're so busy that if you had delivery drivers going to the market and stuff like that, they tend to block traffic.
So whenever it is,
When
but
it
if you
becomes a
are in the
problem,
area, you do.
yeah.
Okay. Just asking.
Yeah, I submitted pictures with my request, and actually one of the pictures showed there is a trailer blocking Colorado completely off, and there's a car park on the other side also. So there's basically no way through from Colorado into.
I have been there too, same issue, so.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to possibly do about the parking situation, because as more and more people come to Mexico Beach, it's just going to get.
That's actually that is being worked on, is my understanding. I believe last month we discussed that it is something that's being talked with the owners with. Is that correct, Doug?
For the parking of the delivery trucks, yes, ma'am.
That is something that's in the works.
Okay.
We're talking about some area down at the far end where they can loop through, they don't even have to come down the street, so, yes.
Just for you to know, right now they're still coming down Fifth Street, even if there's a no commercial traffic sign up on the ocean, they're still coming down this way. All right.
Okay, is there anyone else from the public that would like to make a comment or ask a question? Yes, sir.
Rob Cruz, 422 Colorado. I live 2 houses down. Ever since the liquor store went in and the grocery store, the place is a zoo. I realize you talked last time we were here at Planning and Zoning about moving some of the vehicles to the end so they can turn. That's irrelevant. When summertime comes here, there's so many boats. I live 2 houses down in Colorado. I'll have boats parked in front of my house, people walking down there to buy beer and ice. That whole street gets packed. It's ridiculous. The deputy answered the question. 20 foot. All he's asking for is to go, he's already approved for 3 feet, 70, and the other 6 foot. If you lived there, you would do that. The amount of crap that's out there all the time, cigarette butts, little booze bottles, it's ridiculous. And it ain't gonna stop. And the speed bump right here, I think it's pretty good because they do fly down there and you can't see. I come down Colorado every day, you get to the stop sign, you try to look, there's vehicles parked there, boat trailers, boats, lawn people. You can't see anything. You gotta go all the way out into the intersection to the other side to see what's there. So what he wants to do is irrelevant. And if you live there, you would want a 10-foot fence all the way around your property. Trust me on that one.
Okay, any other comments from the public? Yes, sir.
I believe if you look at your LDR, the triangle at the intersection of streets is a 30-foot delay.
That's on page 76.
45-degree angles.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, we'll close the public meeting. We'll open up the meeting for the board. Any other comments or questions? Okay, I want to clarify one thing. So what you said, sir, as the property owner, you're okay with making this, keeping 30 feet as the...
Well, the whole length is 140 feet. I'm asking 70 feet, so basically half, 6 feet high, and 70 feet, 3 feet high. So you have 20 feet, 45 feet are here, right now here. So 45 to 70 feet should be within the allowance of the city.
Okay, and that's what this says, right? Do we have anybody here from, was it
Yes,
EPC?
I submitted a drawing.
Yes, we have your drawing.
Okay.
There was some question about whether the fence was 3 feet or 2 feet, but I think we
I
got
got
that.
the documentation right here that it's approved from the city.
Is there a drawing in here?
Yes, there is a drawing, but
I'm having a little trouble
Actually,
understanding.
that was for last.
we had another bigger drawing from the meeting last month, but we don't have it now. So what we're looking at here,
I do have a larger drawing.
Is this yours or is this the Jim's?
This is part of the packet.
so is this Biggs Street? There,
All right, this
okay,
is the commercial
right.
here. And the variance is for adding another 70 feet here, 6 foot high.
Yes.
And then the last 70 would be 3 feet.
I'm sorry?
And then the last 70 would be 3 feet, which he has already been
This-
approved for the 3 feet.
All right, he's already gotten this approved. Okay. You know, I understand what the man is saying, but this is a dangerous intersection.
Yes.
There's so much going on, somebody's gonna get hurt. And anything we can do to not restrict vision would be helpful. And I just can't see how this would help the city. Putting another 6 foot high, 70 feet of fence. To me, it would make it a worse condition. Now, I know we're talking about having seen trailers here. Somehow that needs to stop. I don't know if that's possible for the loading and unloading.
Could there possibly be signs put there in that section to keep people from parking there?
We don't have
I
any.
mean, enough signs that they're not gonna park there because they can't pull off there because there's signs there.
Well, the no parking signs is an option. Yeah, I don't believe it's,
Well, why do they?
could do the job.
And there are already signs there that say no commercial vehicles. So, you know, and that's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not working.
So my best bet was to work with the owner of the store. Not just Mark, the manager, but the owner of the whole store, Harry, for the whole property. So I've been working with him on an alternative plan down at the end that we talked about to remove a couple speed bumps where the trucks could pull in and pull through, as opposed to coming down and backing in or turning around or going down Fifth Street at all. So that's kind of my long-term
Where
plan.
would they pull in? Behind it?
At the corner of 15th Street in Colorado, there at Fifth Street, all that, they would pull in and loop through next to the building and then go right out to by the storage pumps. They would just circle through and out. They would never come down Colorado or Fifth Street, excuse me.
So this isn't gonna resolve the issue of parking there and blocking the view of the triangle.
No, ma'am.
regards.
No, ma'am, that will not. I mean,
You
short
have to
of some
put
kind of,
something there that's.
and there's already things there that shouldn't be there, poles, bricks, things like that. We're working on plans to remove those, but short of some kind of landmine or something, I don't know how you stop them from parking there. It's a tough situation. He's probably just trying not to see it, I believe.
Yeah, I can understand his part, but it's a safety issue for the city.
You think about the types of people that are going in and out of that store in that area, and you made a very good comment, in my opinion, about the safety. And we're opening up something that could spread everywhere. When you look at the LDR, it talks about 2 feet high in certain areas. It also has 3 foot high related to decorative fences, which I could consider. It was approved before me, so I wasn't part of that approval. I did pull a previous permit where he was approved for 3 foot around that vision triangle. It says non-opaque fences, so what he has is a decorative, it's a shadow box, non-opaque type of fence there, but I think that's how it was able to get through at 3 feet instead of 2. But you think about the 70 feet in a car or golf cart or something traveling down to the stop bar, which is past Colorado intersection,
Right.
at 25 miles an hour, the stopping distance is just not there. And this car pulls out to not T-bone somebody or family or something. That's just my stance. So,
Okay, do we have anybody from ECPI?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there you are. We can see you back there.
Come on up, James.
Okay, so you made the recommendation that we deny this request.
I didn't make a recommendation, I just stated the reason that it's there, that it's a violation of your LDR. And I've been involved with planning and zoning, building departments. I'm generally against variances because if you do it for one, why not the next person? Now you're looking at a safety violation that's part of your LDR. And if there is an accident and you go through with this, where's the liability for Mexico Beach going to be?
But where's the liability in Mexico Beach if you have RVs and boats and everything parked there? It's probably
They're not the
what's
ones responsible. We're talking about what this board does tonight.
So from a legal standpoint, if we approve this variance, then that would be a liability for us.
Yes,
Okay.
a potential liability.
Right, is the 3 foot still a liability?
I believe the 3 foot will be allowed as long as it's.
It actually
It's
says.
more defensible when you look at like your FDOT standards and then your national DOT standards, and you look at some of the legal things that's been done. They talk about 4 to 10 foot.
Right.
Now, that's not going to help if you're in some kind of low rider, but just for the general population and the average car, they figure that's what you can see.
And our LDR is
And our LDR is 3.
It also says no fences shall be placed in front yards, parentheses, yards abutting a road or a public right of way and defined by extending line in front wall of the principal structure to the front and side property lines. So technically, you're not allowed to put, according to these LDRs, a fence there at all.
Well, I was wondering how that got passed personally.
the application came through back in March of 2021, and it was approved by the city manager.
The 3 feet, talking about
The 3 feet in that triangle.
That variance didn't come through.
It wasn't a variance based on the recommendation. I can't speak for him. I wasn't here.
Our LDR.
It says 2 feet in certain sections, but it also says 3 feet in other sections for decorative fences. Now, I understand what, Clint just referenced there is the front yard period. It's before me, it was already approved, it's already installed, so.
That didn't come to us. No, it didn't come
Go ahead.
to us.
The 3 foot is already installed.
On one side, on one side.
Colorado.
This side over here.
But he's been approved to put 3 foot on the other side as well.
But it seems like it's saying 2 foot.
They don't have to get a variance.
He would not have had, no, it would not have been a variance because based on the rule that I pulled for 2.0405 except exemptions within the LDR states that as long as it's not a chain link fence, If it's less than 3 feet high, it does not constitute a decorative landscape fence. So
But it's 3 foot high.
it's a chain link, it's not a chain link fence. Non-opaque decorative fences used strictly for landscape purpose, not exceeding 3 foot high, may be placed in front yards as defined in this section. A chain link, for example, if less than 3 foot, does not constitute a decorative fence. So it says that that could be a 3 foot high section. I pulled the permit that was approved because I was making sure, I don't know who signed it, but when it was approved. So that's the actual one.
Yeah. And it's my understanding, just so that I'm clear as well, it's gonna be 3 foot from the front corner back, 70 feet. And then it's gonna be 6 foot from there to his existing 6 foot fence, another 70.
Based on that permit, he has 140 feet already approved for 3 foot.
The 3 foot. And
Has
he-
not installed it.
Right, he has not. And he's asking if half of that 140 can be 6 foot instead of 3.
Yes, ma'am.
And then from the midpoint of that 140 or 70 feet up to the front corner of his yard to meet where the other 3 foot fence is 3 foot, is what he's wanting to be 3 foot as well. And please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes,
That's the
correct.
way I'm understanding
Yes,
this.
that's right.
So the line of vision then is well short of the 70 feet that he's wanting to do 3 feet. Is that?
Based on what the deputy said earlier.
And what, okay,
However, it contradicts what,
the LDR says.
LDR says about front
Yes,
yard
it
fencing.
it does, it does.
that's the.
Okay, just making sure that I'm understanding.
Okay, so let's go back over this again. Sir, you say you have agreed to 70 feet at 3 feet, but the LDR says it should only be 2 feet on the Fifth Street side.
Well, I through the info it was approved, so I got the documentation right here, and I heard that you have copies. So,
That's the kind of
There's
That's
no,
another
there's,
deal.
it's not up to date.
Let me ask you something. Would you consider instead of putting a 6 foot fence, 6 foot fence, that next 70 feet or that first 70 feet from here, going in front of your house diagonally so you don't see the stuff, but you still use the 3 foot fence the rest of it? So off your whole 140,
yeah,
you say you want the 6 foot so you don't have to see from your home, see all the stuff.
yeah.
Would you consider instead of having a 6 foot fence there, go on with 3 foot the whole thing, and then bring into your yard a 6 foot, kind of a barrier, visual barrier for you? I mean, I think that's a solution. I'm just throwing out
It
there.
breaks up my house. What's about 60 feet instead of 70 feet, maybe 60 feet? It gives you 10 more feet to fuel. So it still protects me and also gets, maybe approved from our children.
Okay, what, do you have
I
a
just wonder if we
comment?
were done with James, if you need anything else.
For the fence, I think we've got this.
Thanks, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I guess for me the question is still, what are you gonna do about parking there in Shelby there?
I think
Because it's gonna be the same thing, as long as there's cars parking there, RVs, trailers, campers, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna be blocked. It doesn't matter what. You can maybe make Colorado a one-way street, so there's nobody can go out there. Or maybe whatever residents only.
Well, I think that those kinds of questions, we'll be waiting for our city administrator to finish talking with the people who own the building and see what we can work out to help the situation. It's already got the signage that says no commercial vehicles.
Yeah,
And we can
okay,
put
but
up
it's-
no
this-
parking.
This sign is behind my property, and the sign is behind the stores,
Right.
so far back already.
But I don't know that there's anything else we can do along those lines, except to give the city staff a chance to see what they can work out to improve at least the supply trucks that are coming to that business. But again, controlling a pickup truck with a boat on the back is gonna be very, very difficult to do. And, as we pointed out here, the worst trouble is gonna be on the weekend, and I don't know that we can address that issue.
Like, wasn't this like when the city decided to put a store there, right? Shouldn't there be, the planning department should check the area and make sure that there is appropriate space for parking available?
Well, remember that there's been a store there for a long time, even before it was a grocery store and a liquor store. There was an estate sale business, there was all kinds of stuff.
It was only
Selling
Saturday morning.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm telling you that these things happened that we didn't have any control over, you know? Because there were stores there, but it wasn't a grocery store, it wasn't a liquor store, did not have the level of business that we're seeing there now. So, as we go forward, we need to keep this in mind so that we don't create this kind of problem at another location. So,
I'm going to continue to work with the business owners about the traffic. They've worked on a way to put the employee parking elsewhere, so that opens up more spots for the residents and people visiting the store. So Harry is working very well with us, between him and Mark, and I believe it's already gotten a little bit better as I've been noticing as I go about where the delivery trucks are parking and things of that nature. So we're making efforts to continue that direction. I don't want to see any accidents or anything like that myself. So
I wonder, why do they have do they really need a semi to take the products? I mean, it couldn't be done.
we're lucky to get what we get, I think, these days. But you're right. I understand that. There used to be a way maybe that they could go behind the building storage trucks, but they don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I worked on the front way entrance. So I believe we're moving forward to make it better for everyone.
Good.
and we will try to get the sheriff's department to do what they can when they can.
Yes, ma'am.
I think our real issue isn't his fence right here. Our issue, I think the real issue is having that, you know, even if he has a fence there, regardless how high it is the problem between the fence and the road where people are pulling in.
Right.
How can we stop that? Because that's going to block the vision probably worse than his fence could.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
That's true.
Especially with the semi. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
the,
even
and the
a
noise, that turns people off.
yeah, even a boat, even a truck, that will block the vision. So that needs to be stopped probably more than worrying about a fence.
From a legal viewpoint, I will ask the question again. He's got an approved permit. So we've got,
Only for 3 feet,
Only for 3 feet. So
Okay.
our-
140 feet of 3 foot high. We're not even discussing that. He's asking for a variance on 70 feet of that 3 foot fence to make it taller. So that's the only change. So he's requesting.
And none of that 6 feet is within the vision triangle per the deputy you spoke earlier.
okay,
I'm still concerned about public safety, even though it's not in that vision triangle, about somebody flying through here and being blocked by a 6 foot fence. I went through there a number of times, you just can't see.
Please remember that you're talking about the front yard, and it violates the LDR based on that section of having a fence in your front yard. So that's the bigger variance as opposed to the height change. So
But he's already been approved for the fence.
for the 3 feet decorative.
That's not our.
The decorative part, yeah, the 3 foot.
That's
decorative.
it.
And you can
Really
have
our,
3 foot decorative fence.
Yeah.
so our
He's
question,
asking to raise the 6 foot.
so our
for that.
question is the 70 foot, 6 foot fence, period. Let's decide.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Jenna?
I mean, Doug is correct in that the larger the larger permitting is the LDR. So if we stick with that and not raise it up to the 6 foot, then that kind of supersedes the 6 foot. As much as I'd like for him to have the 6 foot, but he'll have to do to stay within the LDR. I think is the best thing for us to do.
Which would be a 3 foot fence.
3 foot.
Okay, is there a motion? Do you have anything to say?
No, I don't get that. I don't have anything to add.
I can't.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything to add.
So we're gonna move that would allow him to build a 3 foot fence there.
That's
already
already
done.
done.
That's already done.
It's already done? Okay.
I'll motion that we deny an additional 70 feet of 6-foot fence
Yeah,
in the original.
yeah. You make the motion?
I make the motion.
Now, second.
Okay, let's call roll.
Dr. Miller,
Yes.
Miss Lindsay,
Yes.
Miss Ward,
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman,
Yes.
Mr. Saunders.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, this goes now to city council, and you're welcome to,
I will be there.
and that's fine. That's fine. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and they will have the final decision to make. And I want to express to you that I think all of us have sympathy for what you're dealing with, and we've all been on that little stretch, and it's not nearly the same as it used to be a year ago or 2 years ago, and we sympathize with what your position is, but our role is to try to adhere to what the LDR
I was already
says.
here 2 years ago, in the last meeting in April 2020, and I raised the awareness for this council that there is a safety problem. In the last 2 years, nothing got done. Nothing.
I agree. I think we
So,
need to.
but just because of now I wanted to protect myself,
I know you are.
now all
Thank
of a
you.
sudden the city start doing something, I don't think this is right.
And again, you're welcome to be at the city council. Will this be on the
The 12th.
12th meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it'll be on the discussion there, and you can take up your case with the city council.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you for coming. Okay, next. We have, I want to open the public meeting about the PUD development on 15th Street. So do we have someone here to represent? Okay.
Good afternoon, or evening, I guess. So, my name is Lance Wilson with Southeastern Consulting Engineers, and I'm the engineer for GR&W Investing for this project. However, I noticed in the packet there was a little bit of confusion on 2 items specifically. Wires were crossed somehow, but this was not intended to be a PUD. This was intended to be a condominium association. And so that was, that was incorrect on in the packet, and also the plans that were in the packet are not the latest plans. So somehow in the submittal and advertisement process, there was a little bit of confusion on that. So not a PUD, and also the plans that were in the packet were a concept plan from 2 iterations before the plans that were intended to be submitted. So everything on the agenda is, not everything, those 2 items on the agenda are incorrect. So I'm going to have to withdraw the application for this agenda and for next week's council agenda, and resubmit so that the correct plans and correct labeling of the development as a condominium association rather than PUD can be advertised correctly and presented correctly.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Are there people who would like to comment?
That is actually pulled from the
So we
agenda.
can-
There's really nothing to comment on
Nothing
at
to
this
do.
time.
Okay. Well, that simplifies things. I believe that is. Okay, next on our agenda is condemned structures. We talked at the last meeting about getting an update on that.
Yes, ma'am. Pass that around for me. So you'll see on this list, it's called a demo list. There's no names on here, but there is addresses, so you can see that. These are ones that we have active cases on related to demolition of the structure. So you'll see the notes on each one of them, whether it's been sent to special master. Need to make sure Julie gets one. and where they stayed. So you could see the address on Highway 98 as one home that needs to be demoed. There's 4 structures. They're sent to special master. So the special master will rule on it, and then we'll take it from there, whether it's an abatement put on their taxes or if it's something that, that we put a lien on their home, however it works. So that's the process that we're in now. I'm kind of going through that motion. The next one's on 35th Street. This home needs to be demoed, and it was sent to the special master as well. When I say it needs to be demoed, it was deemed an unsafe structure by the building department. So when the building department reviewed it, they said that it was too far gone to save, and it was unsafe should somebody get in there. So that's where it gets pushed onto the special master. I can't just simply go take it down. It has to go through those channels. So there's also one that's still standing on Pier Road on 37th Street. You've seen a townhome there. That one's actually stated for abatement. I'm working on quotes right now to actually have that taken down, and with that abatement, it'll go on their tax roll. So that one's pretty far along. We thought we had some luck with FEMA. They'd actually given us the money to take down that house, but they labeled it as A, not C. I think one of the two somewhere. It didn't have the right number with it, and there was nothing else that I could do for that. So FEMA will not be paying for that one. The last one is there's 4 mobile homes within Mexico Beach RV Resort, Rustic Sands, where I sent letters to the owner of Rustic Sands related to those mobile homes that are like marked for demo and they're still sitting there. If you've driven through there, you can see those. But since it's a private property for them, I sent it to the owner of the property, and then they let us know what they want to do. So that process just got started on those. I guess with this list, if there's anyone that you see that maybe I need to look into or something, you're welcome to pass it on to me at any time. You just asked me for a list of ones that we were working on. This doesn't include any ones that we've already taken down. There's been a couple lately that have gone away on Miramar and one on 36th Street. So we're working through them just to try to get the blights moving forward. Insurance is still a big problem. A lot of folks are still waiting on insurance money or some determinations of some legal issues with that. So we're trying to work with them as best we can. But that's about all I have. Unless you have some questions for me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and what about commercial projects?
Sure. So I got a copy of this, a list from EPCI, so that we could kind of show you a few of the things. So you're kind of asking some major commercial projects that are in the queue. I removed an item like a pool being installed at a commercial place, some of those kind of things, water heaters. I got rid of those at commercial properties, but you're asking about things that are in the works for Mexico Beach. Number 1 on the list is the Gulfview Motel. You know that one's still going on. It's getting closer. The next one is 1100 15th Street, multifamily unit. It's 10 residential duplex. It's listed on the far right-hand side. Then there's a multifamily unit at 1008 5th Street North. This one is phase 2 building of the 12 of the Palms. That's kind of in the loops there. It's 12A, B, C, and D. There's also the Driftwood Inn on this list as it continues to go. And then the multifamily, which is, we know is the Town Village Boulevard, which is everything for St. Joe down there, kind of lumped into one project.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. As I get more, I'll be able to bring these back to you guys if we see anything else on the agenda so that you guys can know what's coming down the pipe.
Okay. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? Okay. Well, I think we've finished our business for tonight, so do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I thought that your last question pertained to what that gentleman brought up.
Oh.
Hey, if I could, I'll just stay in here, it's gonna be quick. My name is Bill Muth, I live on California Drive. I will ask planning and zoning for something simple, I hope. We're getting a lot of traffic on California. I don't want to speak for my neighbors on Arizona, but they feel the same way. I would like to see a request to have signs put up on California, specifically, Arizona perhaps, up on 15th Street that basically say no through traffic. We've got people coming out of the RV park, flying up and down the road, a lot of people coming out of Wallace Plumbing, up and down the road. Our streets go into Georgia, they don't go anywhere. But yet we get heavy traffic, we get RVs that are lost, they don't know where they're going. contractors flying up in the road going up to Wallace. I'm not even getting into speed limits, let's leave that alone. But, you know, I know for a fact 7th goes all the way through. I know 5th goes all the way through, and even on 5th, there's signs that say no commercial traffic. So all I'm asking for, specifically California, perhaps Arizona, simple sign up on the corner of 15th just says no through traffic.
I think that's
And
something
I'd appreciate that.
that you would bring up at the regular city commission meeting.
I don't know, I think
Place
that's
of signs is not
zoning
something
question.
that this
That's
board.
probably in
Or,
your
or it could be a
ballpark.
recommendation from the council, from the P&Z to the council that, to look into some sign rules and things like that. Maybe that's how that would get directed, but it wouldn't be your direction to put up a sign.
I have a question, because a lot of people have complained that there's a lot of traffic and there's a lot of speeding on those roads. And,
On those two specifically.
well, a lot of roads, like
Okay.
7th and 5th and 1st and just about every road that goes through.
Right. Well, I
And I
can,
don't
I can
know-
alert the lieutenant to kind of check out that area.
I just, you know,
Okay.
and 15th Street, I mean, all of them are complaining about the traffic is increasing, of course, but then you have the speeders that's not following the speed limits, and there may be some examples that need to be made. So, I mean, I know that we don't want to look at the city as being a speed trap or whatever the case may be, but they need to follow the speed limit laws.
I just thought the signs, not only for my benefit and the people who live on the streets, but would also benefit the people that, hate to say it, that are clueless and don't know where they're going in Mexico Beach, that if they were to come out and see a sign that said no through traffic, they'd know they couldn't get to 98. So I think it would benefit several people.
So I'll get this gentleman's name and contact information, and I'll work on it myself. That's something that I can do. So you guys don't have to be a part of that. But if that's something you want to address later as an agenda item, we can put on an agenda to discuss signage around Mexico Beach, and then that's something that can be pushed through to the council. Otherwise, he would need to go to the council, or for me, he could actually just come to me for that. So I'll work with him and kind of get that off your plate. But
That's going to be my question, is if we were, as a council, wanted to assist you or back you up or whatever the wording, to put something in front of the city council that's brought to our attention at a meeting like this, because there's several things that got brought up here, primarily regarding traffic, parking, line of vision, things that really do need to be addressed.
that's where that would come from.
That's-
Your recommendation to the chair, to the council.
Okay.
And I truly believe that we need to be working on this right now, because it is just gonna get much
Worse
worse.
and worse.
I understand.
So I think that's
You
probably.
know, we do a lot of that in other places with like when they're, the no through traffic is a tough one, but you know, no outlet on some of the other streets are easier for me to get by with. So let me look into some ideas and see what's out there for us. For example, you know, like that no commercial traffic sign's worth about as much money as the sign is printed on. We know that. It's a deterrent. It's not a rule, right? So something similar to that could go there, but it is, you know, it's like a false promise to put that sign up. You know, we can't really enforce it, but we can kind of deter people. So I'll come up with something. Sure.
But the sheriff can enforce, he can
Speeding.
enforce that,
Speeding,
and
for sure.
parking in a line of vision,
Yes,
he
ma'am.
can enforce that,
Absolutely.
and that's something that not that they're not doing their job.
No, I totally get it.
They definitely, if they could make a little more effort to go around there during certain times. And
Sure, no, we can
would be
definitely, I'll work with the
helpful.
lieutenant on that, and I appreciate that. And, you know, we can continue this conversation, maybe it's something we put on the next agenda if you decide that's what you want to do, let me know. And we can take it from there, but I'll be with this gentleman, I'll get my numbers, swap with him, so I can at least talk to him.
So I have a question to continue what I was going to ask you. I know there have been some streets in the past that have had speed bumps and they were taken away. Is there a possibility to consider speed bumps, especially these through roads?
That's something that I could bring to the council. We don't have those anywhere else in the town other than those private roads within one of the neighborhoods we have speed bumps, but that'd be something that could be brought. That could be a suggestion from the P&Z board to the council.
Or even something.
But our
that's
LDR
slowed
doesn't
down.
say we can't have them.
No, we just don't have it.
We just don't have any.
I mean, we're getting busier and busier.
Yeah, so it's not something that we couldn't look past, but yeah, that could be an item for discussion, traffic or something like that for you guys. So you just let me know how you want to go, man.
I will let you know. Okay. Anybody else have a comment, question, or issue? Yes, sir.
This is a question. On your LDR, how often do you update that or this or that? Because there's been a lot of discussion with this commercial property turning residential and different things like that.
It was-
Do you ever, I mean, how often is that looked at and changes made to it?
Well, a number of changes were made after the storm. It was last amended in May of 2019. So, you know, as we go through, and I will bring up one more issue, and that is something that has disappeared from the LDR, but we probably need to address it again, and that is the time for review when we have these bigger projects. Because it used to be in the LDR that we had to have so many days of public notice, and we had to notify homeowners by certified mail. That has disappeared. It also used to say that that the city council must wait at least 15 days before they acted on a PUD development that we had worked with first. And that has also disappeared from the LDR. So I really think those issues are going to be a problem for us unless we
So I know
have
this
some
is
more
not an
time.
agenda item that we're discussing right now at all, but I will tell you that I agree with you. I have a version of August of 2019 when I got here. And since I've been here, I'm working with the Legal Shield, who puts our ordinances online for the ordinances and things of that nature. We're combining everything that's been passed since the storm into that August of 2019 version so that we have a complete version. At that point, maybe you do need to do a review. But none of that is in there. What you just said, we do send certified mail, but it doesn't say, there's certain items that say a certain amount of time that you have to do, like if you're changing use or something like that. But for a general notice, it doesn't say that. So if it did before, that's something that was taken out,
Yes.
and then you guys could review, and that's your prerogative to push whatever you want to do. So I'm open to any of that, but I think our first step is to get one working document as opposed to multiple ordinances that are not included in that LDR or has changed things as part of that LDR. And if you read it just out of that LDR, you don't recognize the fact that there's ordinances written that allow to do certain other things. So just to be clear, I understand that, and I'm working on that. So hopefully that's back sooner than later. Julie's been working with the company to get that done, and it will be all online as well, as opposed to several different spots that you have to go look for it. So that's my goal, and for it to be transparent, to be searchable and electronic, and never get lost in a storm again, and things like that. So that's part of it.
Okay.
But I'll bring that back to you.
Okay. Anything else? Yes, sir.
While we're on the subject of submittal review, I know a lot of time, or every time we submit something through the city, the advertisement don't always go out at the same time, or there's not a deadline. It's just, if you submit on the 11th or the 18th, you may hit the next meeting, you may not hit the next meeting. A good example is Gulf County. So anything that goes on the Gulf County agenda, the prior month has to be submitted by the 15th of the month in order to be on the agenda for the following month and make the advertisement. So we know if we submit on the 14th or the 15th, then it's going to go on the next agenda rather than, it's the 17th of the month, and we may hit the advertisement, we may not, we're not sure. So we can't tell clients what agenda we're going to be on.
I understand that. And that is a problem for us because we've been kind of hair on fire, taking care of things and getting everybody on those agendas as quickly as possible. So that's something, we do have a date that we just kind of not to put an item on the agenda if it has come up because things have been so urgent here for us. So we'll look at that as well. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, then we can,
Make a motion for us to close our meeting. Second that.
okay, so we've got a motion to adjourn, and we have a second. All in favor? I want to say one more thing. I appreciate all you people that have come tonight. We want to hear from you. Thank you.